You are making the world a better place by listening to the Joy of Living podcast. This is your guide to achieving a more purposeful, powerful, and positive life. Join Barry Shore in unlocking the best version of you and becoming happier, healthier, and wealthier. And now, here's your ambassador of joy, Barry Shore.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. That's what you did by consciously and conscientiously and consciously tuning into the Joy of Living podcast with your humble host, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. And you tuned into this show for one reason and one reason only. And it's the best reason in the whole world, because you care the most in the entire world about you, Y-O-U, which is great, by the way, because when you care the most about you, you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony, you create more joy, happiness, peace, and love in the world. And we're going to talk today about the essence of you, which is your good health. When we talk about health, by the way, we're not just talking about physical health. We're talking about physical well-being, of course, but it's mental and spiritual and physical health all together. So you're going to be amazed. You're going to learn so much. You're going to be transformed by our wonderful guest, Shaun Noorian, who'll be here in just a couple of minutes. So right now, I just want to urge everybody to understand that the reason you tuned in is because you want to know what we talk about in this show, which is the three fundamentals of life. And when you use these three fundamentals, the result is you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? Now, the three fundamentals of life are, number one, your life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, number two happens. In this case, good number two, you go MAD. Now, MAD is a wonderful acronym that stands for make a difference. You lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference in the world. And the third fundamental is to uncover the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. Simple example, this podcast is carried around the world. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people tuning in, and if you ask anybody, what does www stand for? They'll tell you very much with the internet. Factually, they're speaking. They're correct. In our world, however, www stands for what a wonderful world. And what is a word, right? WHATA. And of course, a tip of the hat and a big thank you to Louis Armstrong Satchmo for enabling that song, What a Wonderful World, to go viral and not just touch tens of millions or hundreds of millions, but billions of people around the planet. When you hear the opening bars of What a Wonderful World, what do you do right away? You can't help it. You smile. Now, smile is one of the most important words you could ever internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life, because smile is an acronym that stands for seeing miracles in life every day. That's right, seeing miracles in life every day. Now, I have to tell you, I'm deeply honored. I get an opportunity to speak with hundreds of thousands of people every week, both here on the podcast and in person. Recently, we did a show. There was 1,127 people in the audience, and I'm telling the story about Barry Shore. I'm talking about smile and seeing miracles in life every day. Some people raise their hand and say, hey, Barry Shore, I've been up for hours. I haven't seen any miracles. And I asked them, are you here? Can you hear? Can you stand still? I can't do that. Can you walk? I can barely do that. Do you have water to drink? Do you have food? Do you have a place to sleep? Do you have family? Do you have friends? Every single one of those is a miracle. And what's the proof? Simple as proof. 1 million people didn't get out of bed this morning. You know why? They died. By definition, if you're watching or you're listening, you didn't. Therefore, you have an obligation to learn to live life to the full, to live exuberantly. Let me tell you a quick story. It's about me. Imagine, if you can, you're standing up in the morning, completely healthy and hearty. In the evening, you're in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed from your neck down. That's me, not you. That's me. It happened really overnight, not from an automobile accident, not a spinal injury. Standing up in the morning, completely healthy. In the evening, totally paralyzed. I could only communicate by blinking my eyes. I was 144 days in the hospital. I was in a hospital bed in my own home for 2 years. I couldn't move. I was 4 years in a wheelchair. I had braces on both my legs, my hips to my ankles. That was progress. Thank God today I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand. So I'm a triped, not a biped. Can't walk up a stair by myself. Can't walk up a curb by myself. I have help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. However, you hear my voice. Positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, all because of one word. That's right. Smile. Seeing miracles in life every day. Now, I got to tell you a quick story. My 8-year-old niece comes over to me a few weeks ago. She says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile? S-M-I-E-L. I thought about it. Smile sounds the same. Why not? I asked her how come. She says, because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life. Out of the mouth of an 8-year-old. But what was she doing? She was creating the kind of world she wants to live in. Now, CREATE is a fabulous acronym that stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. That's what you're going to experience today. Rethinking when we speak with Shaun about your health, which is the most important thing you have, right? Creating rethinking. Now, it really means a shift in your perspective. Now, I've been working with people for more than 4.5 decades, and I can tell you 97.2% of all the people I start working with, they drop the F in shift, and the other stuff happens. You got to be effing careful with your Fs. Keep that F in place. So you want to shift your perspective just a little bit, and then the world opens up, and then you'll be able to internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important words you'll ever learn. And these are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. That's right, choice, not chance. How you choose to respond in any given situation will determine your path in life and the trajectory. Now, before we bring on wonderful Shaun, I'm going to tell everybody we're in advance. And thank you, by the way, to everybody who tells your family and friends. Now, we have over 400,000+ people listening, and every show, 25,000 people show up. We'll have over 500,000 people in just a few more weeks. And then I ask you, just share those with 5 people. That's all, just 5. You want to share with 50 or 100, it's up to you. But at least 5 so we can touch 2+ million people with every one of these podcasts because it's positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. Now, I do use a lot of 4-letter words. I even use the 4-letter FU word, and I do it because it's fun and the shock value. Now, of course, the 4-letter words that we use, because we live in the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, are love, life, hope, play, pray, free, gift, swim. And the 4-letter FU word is fun. Fun. That's right. F-U, capital N, capital N. So after the show, when you see your family and friends, you have a twinkle in your eye and a smile on your face. You're going to point your eye and tell everybody, F you, everybody. Remember to add capital N, capital N. I say, where'd you get that? I say, I listened to Barry Shore on The Joy of Living, had on this amazing guest. You got their attention. Now you can share with them everything you want to know about Shaun. It's going to lot. You just go to the notes in the show, and we'll just lean in right now. So I'm going to urge everybody to do 2 things. Actually, 3. I want you to use the 3 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day from now and the rest of your life. Because when you do this, consciously and conscientiously, you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. These 2 words are thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank stands for to harmonize and nurture kindness. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Therefore, be kind always. Kind stands for keep inspiring noble deeds. I can't think of anyone that inspires noble deeds any more than I want to share with you than wonderful, fabulous Shaun Noorian. Shaun, please say hello to 418,922 people around the world.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? Pleasure to be here.
You love it. It's low key. I can tell you right away. The reason he does that because Shaun really is an engineer, and what he's been doing with the past number of years of his life is he's engineering your well-being. How do you like that for an introduction, Shaun?
Oh, Barry,
I'm
very honored and flattered. Thank you.
If I have to tell you all the things that Shaun has accomplished and what he's doing, it will take the rest of the show. I'm going to give you 3 data points. Number 1, he is an engineer. Number 2, he had a life-threatening situation. And that, again, when people come to these kinds of situations, there are certain things you can do. You can go into the victim mode, or you can go into victor mode. He went into being a victor, not a victim. And the third thing is he has perfected something that is touching the lives of millions of people, specifically in the United States, but around the world. And that is literally shifting the perspective of your involvement in pharmaceuticals. So any further ado, Shaun, first of all, it's a pleasure to have you here. Let's talk right away about your background as an engineer. What is it that happened to you, and how is that affecting you in healthcare, and as a result, millions of other people are benefiting.
Oh, well, I like to think that I was very lucky to get involved in healthcare. Most engineers go off and do work for Ford, GM, other engineering companies, of course, practice engineering. For me, I was lucky enough to be introduced to a different path. Once I graduated with my mechanical engineering degree from the University of Texas at Austin, I wanted to go work for one of the big car companies. I'd pretty much been an automotive junkie my entire life. My father owned a go-kart track, and I'd been riding go-karts since I was 5 years old and racing them. Of course, that's created my passion for automotives. And but when I graduated in December of '07, the car industry was not doing well at the time. Of course, we know GM went bankrupt shortly thereafter. Ford barely made it out with the skin of their teeth. And I had to get a job because I had to pay for food and not go back to living with my mother. And so I was very lucky to get a job working for Schlumberger doing hydraulic fracturing as a field engineer. And, that job that's hard work. What we do here at Empower is, I think, a lot easier than what a lot of people have to do working out in the fields every single day with no air conditioning, significant dangers, gravitational risk, explosion risk, pressure risk, chemical risk, So I got my hands very dirty with my first job out of college. And being such a risky job working out in the oil fields, I ended up getting injured about 9 months into the job. I lifted a very heavy piece of metal the wrong way and hemorrhaged several of my lower vertebrae. And so I had to go into physical therapy. And I was about 25 years old at the time. And the physical therapist noticed that I was very skinny for my age. I'm 5'10", and back then I weighed 125 pounds.
That's skinny. That's skinny.
Yeah.
We'll call it fashionably thin today, but it's really skinny.
It's very skinny. It's actually below the normal level for a BMI of my height and age. And so the doctor looked at me and said, there's something that's not normal. And started asking me questions. Have you always been skinny? Yes. I've never been able to get any muscle, no matter how hard I work out. Do you ask me, do you get tired? Yes, I get tired. I get tired about 5 o'clock after I eat dinner. I have to take a nap. And then it's like, okay, well, do you have drive, ambition? Like, no, not really. It's hard for me to get up in the morning. It's hard for me to get motivated. And so he's like, okay, yeah, let's figure out what's going on with you. So he took my blood and determined that I had the testosterone level of an 80-year-old man, which explained a lot. Explained why I was so tired, why I had very little libido, why I had very little ambition, motivation, and endurance. And he sent me to a specialist. And another very lucky thing, I was born in Houston. I'm born and raised in Houston. Houston just happens to have the largest medical center in the world.
Okay, I want to put you on pause because we have a worldwide audience. Houston, Houston, is in Texas, in the country of the United States. Houston is one of the most dynamic, fastest growing cities in the world. Now, even when you were growing up, like this a few years back, it's an amazing place. And you're right, it has one of the greatest medical centers in the world because it is one of the centers of energy for the world in terms of refining and processing, anything to do with energy. So you're here in this great place to be able to look at what you have as a potential difficulty, and now you're going to turn it into one of the greatest benefits that has ever happened in your life.
Right. It's a great story about lemonade from lemons, I think. But a lot of it wouldn't have happened if I wasn't in Houston. If I hadn't been sent to one of the greatest doctors in the country when it comes to treating kids, or I was a kid back then, with these types of disorders. And so that specialist went and figured out exactly why I had the testosterone of an 80-year-old man. Turns out I was born with a pituitary disorder where my pituitary gland doesn't create luteinizing hormone or follicle stimulating hormone, the two hormones that tell your testicles to produce testosterone and sperm. And so I was infertile and I was hypogonadal. And this doctor, he fixed me. He replaced these chemicals that my body could not create on its own. And I normalized. I became a normal human being. And now let me tell you.
Wait a minute, I want to put you on pause for a moment, because if you're watching this, you're getting an extra benefit. If you're only listening, and it's wonderful, you should listen. If you're watching, as Shaun is saying the words, I became a normal human being, a beautiful smile came to his face, because he realized that for 25 years of his life, he thought he was normal. He was, except for one thing. He was not producing the normal processes of a healthy 24-year-old or 26 or 27. And when he was able to have that happen and replace it, joy, smile. Remember, seeing miracles in life every day. So yes, let's continue. I want everybody around the world to understand what's going on here. This is literally the rejuvenation of a human being, the replenishing of a human being. And what is going to happen is going to go from this difficulty into being able, again, to choose to help a new path in life.
Right. And, being born this way, that was normal for me. I thought that was what normal is: being tired, not having energy, getting sick all the time, not being able to recover from a workout, or not even able to have any benefits from a workout. And that was normal. And then I realized, wait a second, once I got on these medications, that normal is actually feeling great. And that's that's one of the reasons why I do what I do today, is to try to make other people better, so they can live healthier, happier lives, be more productive, and make their own impact in the world. Because it's difficult to make an impact if you have no energy to make that impact. You don't have the endurance to continually go on and tackle difficult problems. And life is just a subset of problems to solve. And so going back to the doctor, I was very lucky to find this doctor, because and what made him one of the greatest doctors in the country is that he realized that his patients would benefit from personalized treatments. And so he naturally worked with a compounding pharmacy to be able to create these formulations that were not commercially available, that he believed would be more beneficial to the patients, because his patients he would customize dosage forms, dosage strengths, and even dosage combinations, combining multiple drugs together to be able for his benefits to have a clinically different experience than every other practitioner that just provides the same pill for every single patient in the entire country. And so he sent me to a compounding pharmacy. And when I got these medications from that compounding pharmacy, like I said, they changed my life for the better. And I guess, like a typical engineer, I wanted to learn how these drugs were made. It was really one of my first experiences with a pharmacy. I hadn't really been in the healthcare system before. My father died at a very young age, and I never got to see the doctor again after that, until I was injured at the age of 25, and I was forced into the healthcare system. And so this compounding pharmacy, it was the best compounding pharmacy in Houston. And, it took 2 weeks for me to get that medication filled. And it also it cost me about $400 per month to get these medications. And of course, thinking back, it doesn't make sense for a medication to cost so much when it's just, a glass vial, a rubber stopper, an aluminum cap, and a little water and active ingredient. It actually costs about $1 to $2 to make that medication. But I was charged $400. And when you're living with your mother and you're pretty much unemployed, that's a lot of money. And having an engineering background, understanding how a bill of material works, I just couldn't understand why they were charging so much, why they had to charge, they had to make that much margin on a product, when, what they should be doing is trying to get as many patients in their system. And in order to get as many patients, lowering cost is the best mechanism to accomplish this. And so
on this very important note, let's do a quick break here, because this is so fascinating. People on the edge of their seats saying, my gosh, yes, I know that problem. Oh my, what are we going to do about it? Shaun brings not just problems, he brings resolution. So we have, thank God, sponsors that we vet. We wouldn't have them on if we didn't think they're worthy of your time. We'll be right back with this brief message. Don't go away, because Shaun Noorian is delivering something that you all want: good health. Be right back after this brief message. Water, wonderful, clean, clear, fresh water. I make it a point to have good habits, and one of the most beneficial habits is drinking pure, healthy water. That's why I use AquaTrue, AQUATRU, AquaTrue. You got to check out this company. AquaTrue purifiers use a 4-stage reverse osmosis purification process. That sounds like a lot, and I'll tell you what it is. It's great because there's no installation or plumbing, and it removes 15 times more contaminants than ordinary pitch filters. I have to tell you, you got to get this remarkable countertop process. The filters are actually quite affordable, and they're long lasting. You change maybe once every 6 months or 2 years. So you save a lot right away, not having to buy a lot of filters. And when you use the system, you're getting the equivalent of about 4,500 bottles of water. I mean, think about that. That comes out to less than 3 cents a bottle. Plus, you're saving the environment from all that plastic and such. And best of all, the water tastes fantastic. I love drinking water. And even more importantly, my kids and grandkids love water even more so than carbonated soda. How's that? And if you have pets like we do, our dogs love this water. So I can truly taste the difference. And I urge you, please get the AquaTrue system. Go to aquatrue.com. AQUATRU.com. AQUATRU.com. Put in the code JOY, J-O-Y, at checkout. It comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, and it makes a great gift. You're going to love it. You're going to thank me. Go to aquatrue.com, AQUATRU.com. Use the promo code JOY, and you'll thank me. Best wishes. Bye now. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking, because always looking for and finding the good. Our cup runneth over with good. His name is Shaun Noorian, and he is the founder of something called Empower Pharmacy. And he's telling us about his journey of being injured and facing difficulties in life because he has a testosterone of an 80-year-old and he's 25. And he attracts to himself the best doctors in the best city, in the most advanced medical place in the world called Houston, Texas. And now talking about something called a compounding pharmacy, which I'm sure not more than 1% of anybody listening has any idea about, but we're going to talk about what it is in just a moment. And facing several things. He's happy that he's getting this personalized medicine. And he's also in a quandary of, why does it cost so much? What can be done about that? He's an engineer. He's going to break it down, put it back together again, and he's going to change everything about the pharmacy world. Shaun, let's continue where we were. You wear this personalized medicine, you're loving it, you realize, wait a minute, it only costs about $2 to $5 to put together. Why are they charging me $400?
Right. And so I started researching the pharmacy compounding industry as well as the pharmaceutical manufacturing industry. I went to as many conferences, seminars, read as many books on the subject that I could find. And, I wanted to make drugs for patients like myself so that we could get access to quality, affordable medicine so we can stay on these therapies for the rest of our lives and live the best version of our life that we can live. And so I decided, once I thought I was ready, I decided to start my own compounding pharmacy. I got licensed as a pharmacy technician and hired a pharmacist and got to work giving patients what I would want from a pharmacy experience. And what do patients want from a pharmacy experience? We want good service, we want good quality, and we want low cost. And those are the metrics that we just focused on over the past 15 years to grow from working in 150 square foot space to now 380,000 square feet of manufacturing facilities, providing personalized medication to millions of patients across the country.
Okay, let's unpack a few things here because this is mind expanding for everybody listening. I mean, we have people listening all the way from Pakistan to Uganda to India, China, throughout the United States and Latin America. People in the United States are leaning in. Everybody, if I were you, don't take notes, just listen. Everything you want to know about Shaun and what he's doing is going to be in the show notes. And again, go there, just listen to what's happening here. These are a salve, an S-A-L-V-E. These words are the fountain of health. These words are so beneficial. What are they? Personalized medicine, quality, affordable medicine. In the crude way of saying it in America, we call it FBC, faster, better, cheaper. When Shaun realized he could do things faster, better, cheaper in the sense of less expensive than anybody else, he knew it was a winning formula, because who doesn't want to make sure they have better health, especially personalized health? Now, let's just be blunt about it. The pharmaceutical industry is not a mom and pop group. It is one of the most powerful, most influential, the most well-funded organization. Well, it's not even an organization; it's just a behemoth in the world, certainly in America. So how does Shaun and Empower Pharmacy, which again is in the show notes, you can go, is available for you as a human being. How does Empower Pharmacy even get going into this world?
Yeah, so it's it's a lot of hard work and luck, I think. And like for example, if I hadn't got injured, I wouldn't have been diagnosed. And if I hadn't been diagnosed, I wouldn't have been introduced to this amazing industry. And for a little background on compounding, in case some of your listeners don't understand what compounding is, just the vast majority of our population doesn't. I know I didn't understand what compounding was. I didn't even understand what a compounding pharmacy did or existed before I was introduced to them. But I realized that compounding pharmacies, it's a type of pharmacy that can make any drug as long as it's been a component of an FDA-approved drug before, or has a United States Pharmacopoeia monograph, or is contained within the 503 bulks list. These are the conditions that we have to abide by to be able to make.
Just to unpack something, these conditions everybody abides by. In other words, there's no pharmaceutical group, whether it be J&J or Biogen or anybody, you all have to work within the same rules. So you're adhering to the same rules that the biggest in the world adhere to. That's all.
Right. And the compounding has existed for hundreds, arguably thousands of years. All medication, before the industrialization of pharmaceutical manufacturing, all medication was compounded. And if you look back at the old pictures of pharmacies, you'll see apothecaries mixing something, right, and giving it to a patient one at a time. And that's how medicine was produced. A little figure to give your listeners: about 100 years ago, 75% of all drugs in our country were compounded. Now, today, 100 years later, only about 2% of all drugs in our country are compounded.
Okay, I want to put you on pause for a moment. There's an important movie that everybody in the world should see, and most people in the United States have seen at least once, if not multiple times. And the movie is called It's a Wonderful Life. And it really is. It's a wonderful life. You understand what it's about. And Shaun lives it. The entire issue in the movie, which talks about the greatness of the human spirit, revolves around a compounding pharmacy. If you haven't seen the movie, you have to go look at it. And there's the scene where the pharmacist, unfortunately, for whatever reason, makes a mistake in something. But that is what is the great catalyst to make everything work in the world. So you're right. Compounding within the past century, well, that was the way things were. That's just how mortar and pestle was the way you made things. And of course, with industrialization and mechanization and standardization, well, that all changed, but that doesn't necessarily bode the best for an individual. And as you put it so wonderfully, Shaun, personalized medicine. Because that's really what people want and need, isn't it? Personalized medicine. So continue with compounding pharmacy. This is not back alley stuff. This is really the top of the line. These are people, pharmacists, who are expertly trained to be able to compound and put together an RX, a prescription from a doctor to give you the best medicine for you, not everybody else, for you, right?
Right, exactly. Because we're all different. We have different genetics, we have different age, we have different comorbidities, we have different ways of methylizing certain chemicals in our body to others. I mean, no human is unique. And so, but why is our medicine all the same? If we are to exhibit the best outcomes for our treatments, these medications need to be personalized, or they should be personalized if the best outcome is to be attained. And so compounding pharmacies, what we do is we work with prescribers and practitioners, and we figure out what is indeed best for that patient. So for example, if a patient, how medicine is being done today, it's really what we think is medicine 3.0, the next generation of medicine. It's actually preventative in nature. It's not curative. The best way to treat a patient is to prevent them from getting sick in the first place. And so what a lot of doctors are figuring out is, let's get a patient into our system early. Let's get a baseline. Let's see where all the chemicals are inside of the body, whether they're, the bottom end of the normal range, the middle end, the top end. And let's figure out where you operate best, where you feel the best, where you perform the best. And let's customize these medications to give you the exact right dose so that you can be optimized. And this is, at the heart of what compounding does. We work with your doctor to create these customized solutions that are individualized specifically for you, so that you as a patient can exhibit better benefits than everybody else just going to the same big box retail store and getting the same one size fits all pill that everybody else is taking. That's what a lot of doctors are realizing, is that's not the optimal way to treat a large portion of their patient population. It's actually to personalize it. And so, when I started this compounding pharmacy, I was aware of the drugs that I was taking. And so we started making men's health products, testosterone, aromatase inhibitors like anastrozole, clomiphene, injections, creams, capsules. And then once we started serving these male patients, they started feeling better. They had more energy, more stamina. And a lot of these patients were past the age of 40 or 50. And so they had wives or spouses or partners that were also in their 40s, 50s, or 60s, which meant they were either in perimenopause or they were postmenopausal. And so now you have a male patient that has all this stamina, libido, but they have a partner that can't keep up with them. Well, it turns out women need hormone replacement as well, especially when they're menopausal. And so then we shifted to adding on women's health into our platform. We noticed, men and women, we also have dermatological problems. So then we created a customized dermatology line. And if people are doing dermatology, maybe they may be doing some longevity medicine as well. So we added a whole longevity formulary. If you're interested in longevity, then you may also be interested in weight management, as obesity is one of the greatest causes of disease in our country. And so then we created a full weight management line. And then after that, an IV nutrition line, and over and over again. So over time, we started with just 5 medications, and now we manufacture about 400 different customized medications to serve the entire health and wellness functional medicine market, so that a patient and a provider can get everything they need from a single one-stop shop that can get them personalized medication, not just for patients through our compounding pharmacy, but also to providers through our outsourcing facility, so that they can administer these medications to their patients in office. And
let's put you on pause for a moment, because the discussion is so wonderful, and it all hinges upon something you said toward the beginning of it, which is truly wonderful in the sense that it's eye-opening. The shifting in medicine today, especially amongst younger docs, is towards preventative rather than curative. If you go in with that mindset, then you can really become a health dispenser. which is really what it is. Because if you're only curing, okay, you're trying to get back to what was, and let's be blunt, a broken leg needs to be fixed and such like that. However, if you're dealing with, like you had, the testosterone, the libido of an 80-year-old in a 25-year-old body, well, that needs to be shifted. And once you do that, now you can lead a full life, and you want to prevent other things from happening. And we want to prevent this debilitating aspects of longevity as opposed to just living longer. So this is wonderful. Preventative versus curative. And the marketplace saying to you, oh, Shaun, Empower Pharmacy, and you, again, read all about it in the show notes and such like that. You as an individual can get these things, obviously in consultation with your doctor and things like that, and administer them at home. And now you can become the owner of your own healthcare. Excuse the pun, what an empowering process. I mean, a big bravo. So you went, like you said, from 5 to 400 because the market says we need and want this. And
That's
we're
right.
still only touching a small percentage of the population. So let's continue with this idea that we're dealing now with personalized medicine, quality, affordable medicine in a preventative more than a curative process.
Right. So, patients, we didn't have that many options not too long ago, but now, especially post-pandemic, with the adoptance of telemedicine, more and more patients are getting access, easy, convenient, low-cost access to a qualified specialist anywhere in the country, instead of what they were having to deal with before the pandemic, where if you wanted to get access to this type of medicine, you would go see your primary care provider and ask them about longevity medicine or anti-aging medicine or hormone replacement or anything, and they wouldn't really know what to do. They would just farm you out to a specialist. What we've seen now that the pandemic has occurred and patients have become familiarized with how to interact with a provider via a video or phone consult, and they can actually go out and find the greatest physician in the entire country. And that physician can then see you via a telephone or video consult and give you what they, given their vast expertise, give you what they think is the best treatment for you, instead of your PCP that's just going to give you the same medication that every other provider is going to give you. These specialists are starting to realize that personalized medicine is actually the best way to treat their patients. And so a very large portion of the telemedicine market is utilizing compounded medications, personalized, individualized medications, and they're getting them at a lower cost in many cases than they would be able to get through traditional means. And so we're just seeing, because of this, because influencers and educators like yourself are letting the world know that this type of medicine is available and these options are attainable, more and more patients are coming into this this better healthcare system that focuses on their health, both, like I said, before they get sick. And really, if you want to, I think we should be calling it performance optimization therapy, because that's really what this medicine does. It not only does it prevent us from getting sick in the first place, it improves our cellular function, our mitochondrial function, so that we feel better, we have more energy, we live healthier. And of course, if you're healthy, you're a lot happier than if you're miserable. And so
we're going to quote you on that one. If you're healthier, you're a lot happier than if you're miserable.
Right. And the reason I can say this is because I was miserable for the first 25 years of my life. I was always sick. I would always get infections. I couldn't, like I said, if I tried to work out, I couldn't move for the next week because I did so much muscle damage. My muscle couldn't repair itself, and then I got on these medications and I feel better, and I feel better. I'm happier. Now I can be happier to others and be better for others.
I want to put you on pause with something, because this is, and I think it's vital to speak this out. We're not talking about, in quotation marks, wonder drugs like ketamine and things like that. As we're talking about the ability to work for the unique individual and address certain issues, like you said, like testosterone or pituitary issues or whatever it is, and compound something unique for the person. So it's highly beneficial. It's performance optimization, as you say, personalized. So these are not wonder drugs that you're going to get addicted to and find that, my gosh, your pusher is pushing this stuff on you, and you're going to have you're going to be subject to addiction situations. We're talking about good stuff. Am I correct?
Absolutely. And these drugs, a lot of the beauty of functional medicine is that it solves the root cause of a lot of disease states. And a lot of the root cause of many disease states is a chemical imbalance within our body. So, for example, menopause is a chemical imbalance. There's too little estrogen or too much progesterone or not enough testosterone. And all the chemicals that I just mentioned are natural. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to replace the chemicals in our bodies that we naturally should be making, but due to genetics or disease state or aging, our body no longer produces these chemicals at the optimal levels that it should. And so what we're mostly doing is we're making drugs, drugs, if you want to call them, but they're natural substances that are so powerful that they have to be prescribed under the supervision of a doctor because they are so effective. They need that type of oversight. And so these medications that we're manufacturing and compounding, they are real. Many of them are vitamins, minerals, amino acids, hormones, and other natural therapies that what we're trying to do is we're trying to solve the root cause. Initially, replenish our bodies with the chemicals that we should be making on our own. And then seeing the patient every 3 to 6 months after that and seeing how, taking more blood, seeing how our bodies have responded, and then further optimizing and doing that for the rest of our lives. Because it's not like we're going to get on this medication once and we're solved. Our bodies are constantly changing, and so should our therapies. And that's the beauty of utilizing a compounding pharmacy, is that we can customize these therapies as we age so we can get the best benefit from them.
Absolutely wonderful. Okay, people are leaning in. They want to know more and more and more. We're going to do it right after a brief break. We love these sponsors. We wouldn't have them on if we didn't think they're of your benefit to you. Again, everything we do is personalized and optimized for your benefit. And so we're going to be right back with more Shaun Noorian and Empower Pharmacy of this brief message. Don't go away.
What if you could shop at your favorite local stores, swipe your current credit card and get extra cashback rewards? And what if you could also have donations sent to your favorite cause at no extra cost to you? What if this amazing program was absolutely free and very simple to set up? Well, What If is here. Welcome to Einstein Cares, where your everyday shopping gives you and your favorite cause extra money. It's fast, it's easy, and effortless.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe you're good-looking because you're looking for and finding the good. We have found good in abundance. His name is Shaun Noorian. He has gone through processes on his own of being debilitated and living a life of an 80-year-old in a 25-year-old body. And as an engineer, he was determined to find out what could be better. And he was blessed with great doctors who personalized medicine for him using something called a compounding pharmacy. And he went out and he did what every red-blooded American person should do. He built his own. And he empowers now millions of people through the Empower Pharmacy. Again, everything you want to know about Shaun is in the notes here. Share this with at least 5 people that you care about, so we'll touch 2+ million people around the world, because this is all about you being the best you. We're now at the point we've been talking about optimization, personalized medicine, the natural elements of medicine, drugs. We're talking about drugs that are natural to you as a unique human being, that are powerful and effective, and how they can help shift. Remember, keep that F in place so the other stuff happens. How you can shift your body and your perspective so you can choose to live a life that is filled with joy, happiness, peace, and love. So you're talking about what we call functional medicine. So let's talk about functional medicine in the world of the regulations that one has to live with in the United States of America, which obviously are for benefit. I mean, they're put in place so that people do not sell snake oil from the back of a horse-drawn carriage and such, which people did until not too long ago. Maybe some even still do. They just do it outside and drive up in a Ferrari and say, "Hey, have I got a deal for you?" Tell us about functional medicine and what's the pathway for now in the foreseeable future?
Yeah, so functional medicine is a way of practicing medicine by identifying the root cause of a problem or a symptom that a patient may be dealing with, and starting at the bottom, trying to address those root causes through diet, exercise, sleep, stress reduction, and biomarker optimization, and then further optimizing that patient over time so that they can live the best version of their life that they can live. And it's a lot different than the traditional way of practicing medicine, which is primarily ambulatory in nature, where we only start treating a patient once they've presented to a hospital with a life-threatening disease state. And it's very difficult to fix a patient after they've developed this disease state over decades. It's a lot easier to prevent that disease state from occurring by looking over a patient's biomarkers and seeing, oh, there's something wrong here. Let's address it ahead of time. Let's optimize it so that it doesn't continue to decline during the aging process. And so we see a lot of patients, younger and younger, getting involved in functional medicine as they're realizing that we shouldn't just start optimizing ourselves once we've presented a disease state. We should start optimizing ourselves as early as possible, so we can live that healthiest version of our life that we can live for the longest amount of time. Because what's the point of living, 80 years when you're only feeling the benefit for the last 20? Shouldn't you want to become optimized for the last 60 years of your life?
Or the next 100 years if you start at 20. Who says you couldn't?
Absolutely. And if you start early on, you will live longer than addressing a disease state after you're 60, 70 years old. And so keeping our cells healthy for a longer period of time is really a great way to expand not just lifespan, but health span as well, the amount of time in our life when we're healthy. And ideally, we want to start feeling, not feeling crummy, when we're for the last 20 years of our life. Those are supposed to be our golden years. Ideally, we want to feel crummy for the last 5 years of our life.
Or not crummy at all. I'm opting for not crummy, by the way. Just so
exactly.
I'm in the non-crummy stage. I want to make mention of, I would presume, again, presumption at the moment, that anybody who is in the world of athletics, whether you are a dedicated athlete and triathlons and things like that, you're going into the professional aspect of athletics and such like that, college and more, and pro ball and such, I would think that anybody that's involved in athletics on any level would be the perfect people to use this optimization. Is that your target audience? Or as you say, we're dealing with everybody, of course. However, the people you really want to reach are the people who recognize that this is a combination of what I call PMS, physical, mental, spiritual. See, just addressing the physical is one thing. It's really addressing the physical, the mental, and the spiritual aspect of the human condition so that you not only live well, but you do it with a big smile and with full optimization. So do you see that trend is happening amongst younger people that are athletically oriented?
It's not many athletes that we serve. The vast majority of our patient population are just normal people, normal people that want to feel better. And athletes actually don't need this treatment as much as normal people because they are naturally gifted. They were born with genetics that put them in the top 1 percentile of performance. To be a professional athlete, you have to be able to perform at those levels. And so it's funny, like the drugs that we actually dispense, many of them are they're banned in sports because they are performance enhancing drugs. They enhance whoever takes them, not just athletes, but whoever takes these medications. It will enhance your mental performance in many cases, your physical performance, and it'll make you improve your stamina, your endurance, your motivation. There's a reason why these drugs are banned in sports. It's because they work so well. And so what the medical community has done is they are now prescribing these performance enhancing drugs to non-athletes, patients that will exhibit the same benefits as athletes, such as increase in muscle mass, increase in stamina, increase in mental performance. And that is a great way to live. It's amazing to be a superhero, pretty much, a super athlete, because now we can, by introducing exogenous chemicals, we can increase our biomarkers to the same levels as the highest performing athletes in the world. So now we can perform on the same level that they can.
So this is, you've brought this even better. Thank you so much for explaining this. So let's take the top 20% of the population who are oriented to wanting to feel better. That's just the nature of life, 80-20. So the top 20% can say, wait a minute, I can be more agile mentally, physically, spiritually as the 1% by using my own body, my own functionality, and optimizing. Is that really what you're saying?
That's accurate. Yeah, more and more patients are becoming educated on the benefits of these types of medications. And most of them aren't trying to hit a home run really far. Like they're not trying to run as fast as possible. They just want to live a normal life. And as our bodies age, these biomarkers that we should be producing become out of whack. And there's only one way to fix that in many cases. We've got to introduce these exogenous chemicals into our body that our body no longer produces endogenously. And if you look at athletes, like, a lot of them, before it got banned in sports, they took testosterone. Well, why would they take testosterone? Testosterone increases muscle mass so they can have more stamina, increases red blood cell count so they can have more endurance. And we're figuring out that increasing muscle mass is not a bad thing. It's actually one of the best things that we can do for ourselves.
I think so, right.
Right. It improves our immune system. It helps us with control of glycogen. So it prevents insulin resistance, also prevents, as we age, prevents us from falling. The number one killer of women past the age of 60 are hip fractures. Well, why are there hip fractures?
I was just about to ask you about this. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Their hips are fracturing because, one, their bone mineral density is low because their hormones are off in many cases. They don't have testosterone increases bone mineral density. If your progesterone to estrogen ratio is messed up, you'll also decrease your bone mineral density. And so postmenopausal women are at the highest risk of hip fracture. And why are they fracturing in the first place? Well, they're falling. Why are they falling? Well, because they don't have the muscles in their legs to be able to withstand, a movement that is unexpected. And when you're young, you trip, you catch yourself very quickly. When you get older, you don't have the muscle, and many of us sit down all day long. So we don't have the ankle or knee strength to be able to withstand these types of movements. We fall over, our hips fracture, and then it's downhill from there. If anybody's ever experienced a hip fracture, it is not a pretty sight. There's a very low probability.
I want to continue on a higher note, which is you don't have to be subject to it. You can be the one that says, I don't want to have that. I can do it. I'm obvious. People are asking all around the world, Barry, do you use this? Yes, I love Shaun and I love Empower Pharmacy. I get stuff from him because it's the best. This is your life. You want to be healthy, happy, and wealthy. This is the best way to do it. They all work together. They work closely together. Shaun, I'm about to say words that hurt me, and I really want to, but I have to say them. We're coming to a close for our time together. So I have 3 quick questions for you. Are you ready?
Already.
Number 1, will you come back again?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I love
thank you. Number 2, Shaun Noorian, you have only 80 seconds to answer this question. What is your most fervent desire?
My most fervent desire is to expand access to quality, affordable medication so that patients like myself can live healthier, happier lives and make the world a better place. Because as I mentioned earlier, it's very difficult to make the world a better place if we're miserable. Once we get our health back in our hands under control, then we naturally become happier. And when we're happier, we can make others happier. And so that's really my mission in life, is to be able to get as many patients consistent quality access to these types of personalized medicines so that we can make the world a little better ourselves.
Outstanding. And number 3 question, may I give you a hug in front of 427,911 people around the world? Let me tell you what HUG stands for. Ready? Heartfelt, unlimited giving, which is what you're doing. Heartfelt, unlimited giving. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And from Barry and Shaun, you're listening to The Joy of Living with your humble host, Barry Shaw, the ambassador of joy, Shaun Noorian, who created Empower Pharmacy, which is literally saving the lives of millions of people by preventative situations and enjoying it, because we work with the 3 fundamentals of life. And he's talking about right now, number 1, life, your life has a purpose. You lead a purpose-driven life, you go mad. Mad stands for make a difference. Shaun's making a difference. Each one of you can make a difference when you are happier, healthier, and wealthier. And number 3 is to unlock the power and the sequence of everyday words in terms like smile, seeing miracles in life every day. As my 8-year-old niece says, seeing miracles in everyday life. Learn to shift your perspective. Keep that F in place, and you can create the kind of world you want to live in, causing rethinking. Listen to Shaun, rethinking, enabling all to excel. And then you can internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important words you'll ever learn. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Listen how he chose to use a difficult situation, hurting himself, and catapulting himself into a new world, which helped not only him, but millions of people around the world. And when you do this, I want you to use 4-letter words. Remember, the 4-letter words we use: positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant, love, life, hope, free, play, give, swim, and tell the world to F you. F you, yes, add right away, capital N, capital N. You get people's attention, you can tell them all about this life-enhancing situation. So we urge you, everybody, use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day from now and the rest of your life. Thank you, thank you, thank you. To harmonize and nurture kindness. And a big thanks to Shaun. And from Shaun and Barry, a blessing. Our blessing is go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Shaun, don't go away.
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Joy of Living podcast. Now that's another step towards your healthier, happier, and wealthier life. Never hesitate to do good in the world, no matter what the situation. Join us for another upbeat discussion next time at barryshore.com. And be sure to leave a rating and subscribe to the show to get more conversations like this. And remember to share it with your family and friends too. See you on the next episode.